What's up everyone, LegendBegins here, and we are back with a Pokemon thing actually. So today, the Galarian Pokedex has been completely leaked. Every single new Pokemon is out there for public viewing. So, if you don't want to know what new Pokemon are in the game, click off the video now. Thanks for the view. Just kidding. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and analyze each one of these and rank them. And I have some strong feelings, so feel free to rage at me in the comments down below. So let's go ahead and get started. And we shall, in classic form, get started with the starters. So, starting off with our friend, the Grass-type starter. You see, I'm going to go ahead and make this tier list ranked based off of how Pokemon the Pokemon is. Which might seem weird, but bear with me for a second and we'll get into this. This is a great looking Pokemon. This is exactly what I would expect from any given starter. A tier easily. That's solid. Its evolution. This is a shiny version. It looks a little bit stiff. It's just standing up, but I do like its two beat stick things. I was just informed they're typically called drumsticks, so I will go ahead and give this a B tier. Not as good looking as the first one, but not bad. Not a fan of the shiny color scheme, but it still looks good. The final evolution looks fantastic. I'm actually going to go ahead and give this an S tier. That's a great looking Pokemon. You can draw up that in any gen, and I wouldn't blink twice. I don't know, maybe Gen 1 through 2 would look a little weird, but the rest fits perfectly, especially if Gen 4 onwards. Scorbunny. Another one. Easy A tier. Looks great. Even if it's evolution. Like, it's not as good, but I'm not a fan of the clothing. It feels too human. The rest of it, I can dig it. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a B tier as well. It doesn't... the clothing and the stance feel too human for me. The last one just looks like... I can't put my finger on it. If I say Digimon, I'm going to get a lot of flack. That looks like a Digimon. Okay, next one. Awesome. Same with all the starters. The first forms of all of them are fantastic, and I feel like that's kind of what Game Freak was going for when they made each of those, that each one, when they were trying to reveal them, this looks like a classic Pokemon. Looks fantastic. So I have no problem with any of them. The evolution? Honestly, I'm okay with this. I would say of all of the starters, this is the best Stage 2 evolution. I'm tempted to... You know, I'm actually... Just because I'm probably going to be kind of mean to this series in a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and give that an A tier as well. That looks fine. And here's where things start getting a little bit unfortunate. I am not feeling this one. Just... I like where they're going with the spy theme. It's too thin. I don't feel like it radiates any kind of, like, strength. At least with Scorbunny's final evolution, I'm really getting that, like, okay, this thing's probably pretty tough. This, it doesn't... It feels lanky. It doesn't feel like it can take any kind of a hit, which isn't always a problem. Like, Greninja is thin, but this thing is like a twig. Just, I'm not a fan of this design. We have Galarian Pidgey. I'm aware it's not actually a Pidgey, but that's a good-looking bird type. Its evolution? Honestly, I'm fine with this. I'm going to give that an A tier as well. I have zero issues with the bird line. Not at all. All of those are totally fine by me. They look good. This one, this one's a little bit edgy, but honestly, Pokemon's done the edgy thing. Get some armor as you evolve. I'm fine with that. No problem. Mr. Squirrel Dude, he's cute. He doesn't look bad. He's fine, honestly. I'd put him just below Scorbunny's evolution, but really, honestly, no, I'll put him above that. I don't have a problem with Mr. Chipmunk Man. I do have a problem with the character model stripped straight from over the hedge or whatever. This looks gross. This looks like something you'd find in a knockoff Alvin the Chipmunk video game or movie. It looks straight up like a cartoon unrelated to Pokemon. I'm not a fan. Here we have the iconic sheep. Honestly, when it came out, I wasn't a fan. I didn't like it. However, after seeing some of the more recent designs, I have come around to it. Its evolution, same thing. These all look like Pokemon. This looks like the Pokemon that brought new life in X and Y, that I can't remember the name of at the moment. Also A tier. In fact, I'll put it above that. This one, same thing. Looks like Pokemon we've seen before. No problem in that. You got the Fox guy. I don't like the way he looks. He looks kind of gross in my opinion. But he does look like a Pokemon. And I'm sure I'm going to get tons of flack because I know a lot of people like this guy. I'm not a fan of the facial expression. I'm not a fan of the mustache. B tier. Same with his evolution, just right next to him. They're the exact same. Like, that's a good evolutionary line. Honestly, no problem there. Now the Corgi. It's okay. It's a Corgi. What can I say? But I still feel Pokemon when I see it. I'll put it just below Scorbunny. Its evolution, though. Look at those eyes. This makes me feel like it's going to come and eat me in my sleep. It feels soulless. Honestly, the eyes are kind of terrifying. Okay, next thing. I feel mixed about this one. This thing, you could pass this off as a Pokemon. I could live with it. I'm not a huge fan. I'll put it at the bottom of B tier. Its evolution, though. I really like the design. Pokemon does a lot of things with, like, you know, desserts, items, like ice, keys, anchors, different kinds of concepts. Honestly, I don't know if it can be S tier, but I'll definitely put it up toward the top of A tier. I actually like that. I'll put it in right behind the grass starter, honestly. I really like that design. This one, didn't mean to put it there. I don't have a ton of a problem with this one. For one, it's just really hard for me to see properly. So I can look at this and still think Pokemon. I don't have a problem with that. Here's where things start to get a little bit weird. The angular design, I'm not a fan of. It doesn't feel like I'm looking at anything with substance. I get it's a bug, but really, what am I looking at when I see that? Most Pokemon, I say it needs to be identifiable. I look at it, I'm like, I know exactly what kind of creature this is, what it eats, where it lives, what it can do. I see this, and it looks like a bunch of triangles. I don't like it. This one's better. It reminds me of the totem Pokemon, the guardian of those islands, and those islands being the Alola region specifically, a little bit mixed with the Lediba. So it doesn't look great. Too angular. I'm not a fan of the angular designs we've been seeing a little bit of, but you can convince me that that's a Pokemon. I don't have a problem with that. This one, yes and no. I wish I could duplicate it and put it both at the bottom and the top. On one hand, it looks fine as a Pokemon. But on the other hand, we have seen this Pokemon before. This is absolutely something that has existed in the past. Like the electric mouse, not even Pikachu. We have seen other electric mice in other regions look exactly like this. But it doesn't feel soulless, so I'm going to go ahead and put it right at toward the top of B tier. I like it. I've seen it before, but honestly, if you're going to rehash old designs, at least you're picking good ones. This thing looks like a monster from, like, a gross anime. Don't like it. However, this guy, I don't have a single problem with him. This is a Pokemon through and through. This also just looks like a monster from an RPG. I'm not a fan. I'll give it at least top of C tier. Its evolution, though. Its evolution looks great. I'd put its evolution in A tier. And same with the final. Well, the final is okay. I don't have super strong opinions either way, but I'd put the final evolution top of B tier. I wouldn't give it A. It's not bad, though. It's a fish Pokemon. kind of generic, kind of bland. Better than the Angular designs. Same with its evolution. I look at that, I can still see it as a Pokemon. A little bit less, but I can see it. Bird thing, the Pelican is okay. I have seen worse designs. Though you could argue that we do have Pelipper. It's not bad. I'm going to give this B tier. Because it's okay looking. But that's about the best I can say for it. Okay, the coil snake thing. Base evolution looks okay. Not getting much looking at its eyes. I can see it's a snake, though. It feels very generic. A word that we've heard a lot today. So I'm comfortable placing that mid-B tier. Its evolution, though. That's something special. The coil snake is really cool. I really like that design. That's very interesting. It's different. They did a good job. The teapot Pokemon. Easy A tier. I have no problem with the teapot. Honestly, if this were Gen 5, and you had asked me back when Gen 5 came out, are you okay with this Pokemon being in the game? I would have been like, no, it's just a teapot. Well, I probably wouldn't have been that adamant about it, but I probably would have given that less than 50%. But nothing like garbage. This, though, I mean, Sword and Shield, just, my problem is, it has some good designs. But it has a lot of mediocre ones as well. And then it has others that are a little bit below that. And unfortunately, those are also at the end of this list. So, the coal Pokemon. I like the coal. It reminds me of a Ragnarola. Forgive any mispronunciations. I don't watch the show. I'll give it B tier. That's not bad. Evolution. It's just a mound of coal, though. Like, I think it's supposed to be like a coal cart, which I don't mind. But why go from coal cart to, like, Aggron with a pile of coal on it, or Rhyperior with a pile of coal, instead of, I don't know, a train? That would have been cool. But, Mr. Elephant. Well, one, we have Fanny, but I wouldn't mind, or Fanfy, excuse me. I wouldn't mind 2 elephant Pokemon. But this thing, it just looks, the color scheme is weird. It clashes. I don't like it. Like some kind of Dreamsicle Charizard's color scheme mixed with forest green. Don't like it. Its evolution looks cool. Again, not a fan of the color scheme, but it's better than that one. I'll put it above the Solos ones. Ugh. Impidimp. Some people are hyped for Impidimp. Some people hate it. This is not a Pokemon. This is horrible. Its evolution is a lot better, though. But still not enough to break out a C tier. That evolution, though, the final evolution's not horrible. Honestly, it's halfway decent. So I'll put that at the bottom of B tier. So they did a decent job increasing over time. The electric rock thing. I hate this design. It's like a little troll with me eyes. Absolute garbage. I hate it. The Evolve form is okay. I just don't get why they need everything to walk on 2 legs. It feels like all these other series that popped up around the same time as Pokemon to compete with it. Just not everything needs to stand on 2 legs, guys. That looks like Crash Bandicoot. This looks like a Pokemon. It doesn't feel very inspired, but it does feel Pokemon-like, just like this Bloba cake batter it's sitting next to. Its evolution, that's good. I like it. A tier. Cinescorch and whatever the pre-evolution of that is. Not feeling a lot of inspiration from this one. It's fine. But just the eyes proportional to the body and that flatness. I can live with the flatness. That's fine. But it just feels off. It doesn't feel like it has that Pokemon flair. There's a certain style to Pokemon, and I just feel a lot of these are lacking that. And keep in mind, this isn't even like a tier list comparative to other generations. This is all internal. If I were comparing other generations, most of these would be a few slots lower. S tier is, those are contenders, but anyway. Now for this one, this is solid. I really like this design. I'm comfortable giving it A tier. This thing almost looks right. It feels like they were trying and trying and trying, but they just couldn't get there. So I will give you toward the top of C tier. Evolution, same thing. So close to something, but it's just, so many of these feel like, I don't know, in this case anyway, it feels like a human wearing a mask. At least underneath this part, the top blue part. The bottom's fine, but just, it does not feel like it's just this creature that I can look at and say, oh, I understand this thing. Next thing, I mean, it's effectively just, I've seen this one before, but I saw a great meme a second ago about Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, and this being Mecha Tyranitar. Honestly, good design, feels a lot like Tyranitar. I've noticed a lot of the good designs feel kind of similar to older ones, but I'm not complaining. This one, I cannot stand this one. It's too square. The expression is meaningless to me. It looks like if somebody made a mobile game and then tried to make Pokemon-esque characters. I don't feel anything when I look at this. It doesn't deserve the back of C tier, but it's not good. This thing, is that a mustache? Everything in this game has a mustache. It's just a sea urchin. We've seen sea urchins done better, in my opinion. So we'll put it in C tier. Oh man, this is a serious video. Okay, next the little demon lady. I appreciate the folklore that they're trying to put in the game. This looks okay, but again, the design feels like something I've seen before. And unfortunately, it feels like it's an amalgamation of a few different designs, so I can't just point one out specifically. But I don't have a ton of problem with this, but it doesn't feel that inspired. I'll put it in mid B. I don't have a problem with that. Then we just have an apple. Then we just have an apple with wings. Then we just have an apple that's been peeled. I don't even want to start on this one. It's just a straight up penguin with an ice emoji on it. There we go. This is my least favorite design of this generation. I don't like it. I don't have words other than this is ugly. It looks so gross. It's not any better without its little mask. It just has like a penguin head with a single hair going up. Well, it's more like a frozen penguin head, but let's move on to the next one. This, again, so many of these designs, they want to look good, but they don't. This feels, the eyes are too big. It feels like you're making a 3D render of a Pokemon if you're learning to use Blender for the first time. This does not feel like an official Pokemon. And frankly, it's creepy. Evolution's a little bit better, but still. Like, I don't mind the sharp angles, but they clash so much with some of the rest of the design. Like, this thing looks almost cuddly with that wavy tail that it's got going. It's a fat tail. But then you have this super sharp head that it just feels like you photoshopped two different things and put them together. And unfortunately for us, Photoshop things are coming in just a moment. So it's better. It's better. But it's not good. In fact, I'll put him below the apples. This one, honestly worse than the pre-evolution. Now we just have this giant caterpillar. It looks like a robot. Which, I mean, it looks cool. Honestly, a lot of these designs I don't think look good, but this looks good for a robot. This looks like a Mario enemy, and not a Wriggler. But it doesn't look like a Pokemon. The next thing. This is an electric dragon, copied and pasted onto the back of, like, a different dragon. This looks really bad. Like, I highly recommend you guys taking a higher resolution photo and just looking at it for a moment. It is not pretty. It looks like you merged two things in a 3D modeling program, and we're like, okay, let's make that a Pokemon. The top yellow half looks like it could be a Pokemon. The back half looks like it could belong to a Pokemon. As a whole, this thing is not a Pokemon. Same for the other two. They're all the same. This one's a little bit better. In fact, I'd put it in this order, but none of them are good. I can't... I'm considering trying to move them up, but I don't feel like I can. This thing looks okay. Not inspired. Kind of boring. But not bad. The mascots, I mean... Other than the fact that they're, like, the same thing, I don't have a problem with the mascots. Now the Infinitus, or whatever it is, the main third legendary of the game, honestly looks really good as an Ultra Beast. If you want to talk to me about classic Pokemon, doesn't really look like one, but it looks cool, so its design will win it some points. But as a whole, if you wanted me to make an Ultra Beast looking tier list, this would easily be S tier. The design looks really good. It's a menacing Pokemon, the color scheme works great, it's fantastic. Doesn't look like a Pokemon. So its design has saved it, and put it in B tier, but really that's the best I can give it. Galarian Meowth, I can live with Galarian Meowth. Just as a regional variant, it's fine. Its evolution, though. It looks like it could be a Pokemon. I'm not a fan of how everything stands on two legs now. Its evolution looks like it could be a Pokemon. It looks like it can be related to Meowth. This thing does not look like an evolution of Meowth. If you wanted to tell me this was the Galarian Meowth, whatever. If you wanted to tell me that it's like the Mimikyu Meowth version, fine. But this little gremlin loses a lot of points with me for trying to claim to be an evolved form of Meowth. Not a fan of them splitting the evolution line like this. I wish they would have made the other Meowth, the Galarian Meowth, an entirely different Pokemon. So while it wins some points for looking like a Pokemon, it's going to lose a lot of points for not being what they try to claim it to be. Galarian Ponyta, perfect. They nailed it, honestly. Going with the unicorn, like, I don't have a problem with that at all. The typing, I believe they should have done fairy, but whatever. This one, it's not bad. This is a bad photo of it, but overall, I don't have a problem with it. Sirfetch'd is great. S tier easily. That looks perfectly like an evolution of Farfetch'd based off of the UK region. It looks like a knight. It looks like a Farfetch'd. It looks stronger than a Farfetch'd. It has a shield. Has a long leak. I have no problem with Sirfetch'd at all. Same. A lot of people didn't like Galarian Weezing. I really like Galarian Weezing. Its top hat being a smokestack, I think, is a work of brilliance. I love that Pokemon. Mr. Mime, I don't have a problem with Mimes, but Mr. Mime's Galarian form is a little bit scary. I don't know why they wanted to call this thing a Mr. Mime. It doesn't feel like a Mr. Mime. It's got the general shape going on. But man, that thing is just, it's weird. It looks so stiff. Its evolution looks halfway decent, but it loses points again for claiming itself to be an evolution of Mr. Mime. It does not look like this should be related to Mr. Mime. At least not as an evolution. I'm not a fan, but I'm not going to bump it down because it does look like a Pokemon. Corsola and... I want to call this one Corpsula, but I know it's not. But yeah, those two are fantastic. I have no problem at all with this evolution. I think it's great. Corsola needed some new life breathed into it. Great way to bring some attention to the dying reefs. Reefs. I'm getting into Christmas mode now. Dying reefs due to bleaching. No problem. This one's okay. Looks kind of gross. Not a fan of that bright green on like this brownish gray. It's too compressed. It's decent. The Zigzagoon looks fine. I have no problem with the Zigzagoon evolutionary line. The final one is okay. I wouldn't say I have any particular problems with it. But I wouldn't say it's outstandingly the next big thing in Pokemon. So I'll put it right here. I don't have a problem putting that in A tier. Now we have our Alolan form of our little fiery friend. He looks okay. His eyes are fine. I'll put it a B tier just because he looks okay. Just the way they designed the textures and his eyes specifically make me feel about it. Its evolution is scary. I don't feel any kind of soul or personality coming from this model. It just doesn't look good. It looks like I'm staring into... It's Uncanny Valley. That's what it is. So many of these designs look so close to a Pokemon, but fall just short where they almost look creepy or off. Like there's something wrong. Yamask looks almost the same. So, of course, it gets S tier because it's actually a Pokemon. Its evolution was great. That is a brilliant evolution to Yamask. I'm tempted to put it in A. I'm missing a little bit of that top part of Yamask. Like, the bottom part, great. The top part, though, like, I see the arms, the ghostly arms, but I'm not getting a ton of the identifiable part of Yamask. Like, you have the mask, and then you have his actual face. Not getting a ton of face from this thing. So I'll actually put that in the top of A tier, but I don't have any particular problem with it. So, that's my list. Feel free to yell at me and tell me why I'm wrong, and this Galarian Sword and Shield game is supposed to be the best one ever made. But really, I have higher expectations for a game on a home console that I'm paying 150% compared to previous games for. So, I could get into a wealth of opinions I have about Sword and Shield as a game on the whole. However, this just being a tier list for the Pokemon themselves and how Pokemon-esque they are, they did a mediocre job. The thing is, most Pokemon games, I would say, firmly have everyone in that S, A, and B tier right here. Honestly, compared to these, I'd give most Pokemon A and S. B, some of them, but mostly A and S. I rarely see any Pokemon with C, D, E, F, and really, really bad tier in other games. But really, I'd say a third or more of the roster just looks gross. I'm really unhappy with what they've done to this franchise with this game. I don't like the art direction the game's taken. That's my biggest problem. Not only the Pokemon art, but also the art of the game. Like, for something running on a home console, I'm just not satisfied with that. But like I said, I have a lot of opinions regarding the game, but here's the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. And be sure to subscribe if you enjoy my content. Click that little bell icon, and hopefully we can send Game Freak a message. So, if you are going to buy the games, enjoy the games. If you're not, feel free to reach out to the Pokemon Company and let them know what they did in these games that you didn't appreciate. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.